Okay, so quick recap. We are here. There are three sections. Part one, that is all about yourself, family, home, work, study, and your interest and other such familiar topics. Part two is the cue card or the long turn, wherein you'll speak for 2 minutes. Part three is a discussion based on the cue card. Okay, now the assessment parameters: fluency and coherence, lexical resource, grammatical range and accuracy, and pronunciation. These are the four areas on which you will be tested. Now, coming back to a few more discussions, fluency and coherence. So when I say fluency and coherence, that means the hesitations that you have and the long pauses that you take in between will all be a part of your fluency. So if you do all that, you will lose scores in fluency. Again, having a connectors, talking, like saying firstly, secondly, next, and therefore summing up, I guess so, I think so. In other words, these are all these are the parameters on which you will be tested for coherence. So make sure that what you speak is fluent and you are also coherent. One more thing I would like to mention is that the other day I did tell you that do not speak too fast and do not speak too slow. So once again, I am emphasizing on the point that when you speak too fast, it shouldn't be that fast that it is not understood by the examiner or the interviewer, and it shouldn't be that slow that it makes the interviewer feel that you are looking for a word and you are actually trying to be conscious in order to understand what to speak next. So it shouldn't be slow at all, definitely not slow, but fast. You can speak fast, but not affecting the speech. Lexical resource: vocabulary is important. Don't keep repeating words. If you do, that will be understood by them that like you're talking about a topic on computer and you say computer, computer, computer at least 5 to 6 times. Avoid that. Use PCs, use laptops, or maybe use machines. So use a range of vocabulary, and also use referencing like it, they, them, they, all of such. Grammatical range and accuracy: of course, your sentences, if they are too short, again it is understood that you are trying to look for sentences and you do not have the basic language structure, and that's the reason you are making short sentences. Pronunciation, of course. So pronunciation I'll discuss again a little later in detail, but for now this many. So general tips I gave you is that it's a normal, it's not just very a casual talk, but it is a formal interview. And your content definitely is checked. See, content, there is no parameter for content, but if you really want an 8 band or a 9 band, you must make sure that your content is related and it is something that is interesting as well. So make your answers interesting to the listener. They should feel that you are involved into the speaking. No one liners and no one word answers. You have to be positive. Expansion of your ideas is extremely important. So that's what I was saying, that the content is all about expansion. So when you say in one word, or when you give a one liner, it doesn't explain the idea well, and you may be very close to 8 band or 9 band, but then if you're not expanding your ideas, you may not get an 8 band or a 9 band. Okay, so it should be brief but not so long. Now, in expansion, I don't mean that you go on speaking for a minute for every question. No, you don't need to do that. 30 seconds should be sufficient, but that should explain it properly. And a good use of vocabulary definitely helps there. Okay, so are we together, all of us?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, cool. Okay, so the part one is what I'm going to discuss today, and I'm going to make you all speak. So part one, as I said, it is all about family. It is all about a home. It is all about your friends and your likes and your dislikes and your views on certain things. So if I say food and food dish, so here are certain topics that you can keep a note of. So while you prepare, you have to prepare on all of these areas. And I've also sent a PDF, that's a book in which you have part one, part two, and part three all given. So it's a recent book, and you can go through the recent in that book. I've also shared the recent topics that students have appeared for the test, and then they have shared with me. So I've also shared those topics which are really recent, like within this month. And I think I've shared a few more things with you all. I think I've shared a Makar book also with you all. So you can go and check the answers for to refer how the answers can be, how what the content basically should be for the answers. Now, first is food, and the second is a food dish. So can anyone tell me what is the difference when I say food, when it says food here and food dish here?
Food
Maybe the
can
cuisine and like a separate dish.
Yes, exactly. Cuisine and a separate dish. Someone else was also wanting to say something.
food can also include raw food, right? Vegetables and all.
Yeah, but it is basically then we would call it vegetables, right? In general, if you want to say that, maybe yes, but basically one would mean a cuisine and the other would mean a particular dish that you like. You can talk, they may ask you questions on flowers, colors, seasons. Colors keeps coming to my mind because there was a time, there was every student would come and tell me that they asked us about colors, they asked us about colors, or he or she asked me about the colors. So one thing that strikes me is always the color question. So flowers, colors, seasons. So they may ask you on a particular season, or they may ask you in general that what is your favorite season, or which is your favorite season, and why do you like that season, and what about the other seasons. So it's not that you have to just know about one season, but then you should be knowing about the other seasons as well. Okay. Now coming to next time of the day, some may like mornings, some may like evenings, and some people who are awake till late at nights, they may say that okay, they are late night people. Room of the house, your hangout place, festivals, gift I have received, furniture of the house. They may like which is the favorite place that you, or your the favorite furniture of the house. So you may say that it's your chair, it may be your sofa, or it may be your study table or your bed, anything that you would like to say. It can be about a toy as well. So here now, as you are grown up, you may not have a toy, but then it may be about a toy you would like to speak on, a toy that you had in your childhood days and the one that you enjoyed the most. Or maybe right now, if you don't remember anything and you have a sibling or a small baby at home, you may take some ideas from there. Childhood story, advertisements, yes. Last few months there were a lot of questions on advertisements. So yes, your favorite advertisements, why do you like it, what makes it your favorite advert. TV shows, TV channels, sports, they do ask you questions on sports. And in sports, something that is coming up very peculiar is water sports. So they can ask you about water sports and a sport, water sport that you would like to enjoy, maybe website. They can ask you about a website that you visit the most. So in your case, it might be um, some educational website, maybe, or a college website or your university website that you might be visiting. Place of rest and relaxation. It can be any place in the home, outside the home, anywhere. Book, author. If it is about an author, do make sure that you are able to talk about some author. Can be a generic one, but you should be able to speak something on. So it's like, we be prepared. So if anything irrelevant, you shouldn't feel that it's an irrelevant topic. Song, movie, of course these are easier ones. You would be able to speak much on that. Songs, movies, singer. Clothes, radio program. If you do listen to, the people like to listen to FM radio, so they may like to speak on something about that. Restaurant, photograph, cartoon or a heroic character, and famous personality. These are some of them. So this is just to give an idea on what type of topics or questions you may have when we talk about my favorite. Now, going to the next slide, you can take a screenshot of this slide if you want right now. And if you don't take even the booklet that I have sent to you on the WhatsApp, in the WhatsApp group, that contains all of these topics. It also talks about jewelry and all such topics. So you can just go there, have a look at the questions that they are. So visiting that book is extremely important for the reason is that you will get to know the topics and you will get to know the sample answers as well. And apart from that, for every question, for every topic, there are 4 to 5 questions following, so you will get a brief on what type of questions they ask. Basically, as I mentioned in the previous session too, the topics are always past, present, and future. Whether it is the some not necessarily for the first topic, but still there can be questions on past, present, and future. So everything that is given to you here, you should be able to talk on the past and the present and the future. Means you should be able to know the basics of it. So if it is about websites, so did people surf websites earlier? No, there were no idea. Like 20 years back, if I go down 10, even 10 years back, people had no much idea on the websites. But now it's like it's crucial to have a website for every organization or every business that is running. So what about what will it be after 10 years from now? Of course, it is a part of it, and this trend is not going to stop. That's what you should be knowing.